And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, I apologize for that break. Oh my god. But we have returned with ESL Open Cup Americas, Papi Americas, and we're looking to dive in mid-series into Solar versus Beyond. They just made the lobby and we were left behind. We were waiting for it as well. We were waiting for the lobby. We clicked on it and they started, Papi. They started. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. So unfortunately, we did miss the game. We have been given permission to restream though from another caster, thankfully. So we will be able to get that going momentarily. And it looks like Beyond is up 1-0. He's up 1-0 in this best of 3. The winner advances on to the grand finals, as this is the semi-finals before us. Oh my god. The semi-finals are upon us, and yeah, we're gonna be jumping into game number 2 as soon as the delay does catch up. Now the issue here is going to be that we're going to be casting from a 2-minute delay, and hopefully we don't get left behind from the next lobby as well. So I'll try to keep my eye out for that and try to make sure that we're able to keep up with everything that's going on. And again, for those that are tuning in, this is a weekly tournament, ESL Open Cup. Every single week, we are here with ESL Open Cup Americas. It is an open tournament to all regions. It is at an NA-friendly time, but it is open to Korea, to Europe as well, to every region out there. Ooh. So, yeah, we are about to be there. And thank you so much, everyone, that stuck around. Thank you so much, everyone that did decide to stick around here for the rest of the broadcast. We do appreciate it. We do appreciate it, as everyone is hopping over, and we're getting this going. Hopefully without too much issue as well. It looks like, again, series are wrapping up, and oh, we're diving on in. We're diving on in. Spawning in the bottom right, we have Solar, and in the top left we do have Beyond. Let's go. So again, I do apologize for this being a little bit messy, but a big shout out to Chicken Man as well. Chicken Man, he has given us permission to stream his POV. It is a shame that we were left out of the lobby, but again, hopefully we're able to keep up with all the other lobbies and keep up with all the other series that have been going on. Again, Beyond is leading it 1-0, and he's going to be going for a low ground Rax. Now what's interesting is that it looks like he's going to be going for a Rax factory opener, not a 2 Rax on the low ground. So a very different kind of opener here from Beyond, as opposed to what he's usually known for, as the Rax is going to finish and then he'll go for a factory on the low ground soon thereafter. Meanwhile, back at home, it's going to be a hatch gas pool. Standard opener out of Solar, very economic from our red Zerg player. When it comes to what occurred in game 1, unfortunately I missed it. I don't really... It was a short game, that I know. That I do know was a very short game between our players, and I think it ended at the 8-minute mark. I think Beyond hit just went across the map with a full-up 2-on-1 and did snowball out of control. But for now, there is that factory, so just a Rax expand into the factory. What's interesting is that factory is not actually a part of the wall either, so very interesting that is not the case. And yeah, instead, he is just getting into, I imagine, a 3cc build. We'll keep an eye on the timing of the starport and the timing of that 3rd cc as well, to see kind of where it does take us. For now, we do see Beyond just vying for map control, going to be zoning that Overlord away. Again, unfortunately, we're not going to have in-game sound, as we are streaming from Chicken Man's POV. Smooch. As we have that 1-1-1 follow-up, actually. Okay, so the aggression is upon us here. Beyond, of course, with a delayed 3rd TC, is going to be hyper aggressive here with this build. I'm curious as to whether he takes this, if it's just going to be Hellions into Banshees, a standard 1-1-1, or if he goes in a different direction with additional Liberators, for example, or getting into BCs. All are possible. So I'm just making sure I don't miss anything. As, yeah, it's going to be 1-1-1 into Banshee. Okay, so this is very old school, a very old school build. There's a lot of pressure on Beyond to kill workers and to even kill queens, so I'm not too sure how I feel about this overall. I am still a little bit concerned with how we're able to pull this all together. But for now, Hellions going to be rotating around, looking for a way in. Banshee production well underway, and it's going to be a 2-base all-in. Oh my god, Bjorn, he doubles down, he throws down 2 more Raxes, not a 3rd TC. So a 2-base all-in is upon us. Meanwhile, the Hellions, they get surrounded. Every single Hellion goes down. A disastrous start here for Bjorn. He loses map control. Solar are able to just drone up quite happily. He checks with his links. He does see the Banshee coming out. He sees Cloak being researched, and he also sees additional Raxes on the way. This should be a tell. From here, Solar shouldn't be droning up too much. He should be saturating up to 3-base saturation at most, maybe with a 4th base for Larva, but shouldn't be looking to be too greedy. Meanwhile, behind this Bjorn, it is not all in, just a very delayed 3rd CC from Bjorn. It is so late, though. And the onus is on him to, yeah, just get even more damage done. We'll see if he can. Banshee's across the map. It's not able to achieve too much here. There's that CC on the high ground. Banshee does have Cloak, but we have Spore Crawlers at every base. We have Queens at every base as well. So plenty in position. This Banshee going to be dipping towards that 3rd. Gas is being taken. Looks like Solar's actually going to be going into Roaches instead. Interesting choice. Very safe playstyle here from Solar to get into those Roaches. Behind this is that 3rd TC. To have our 2 Raxes being thrown down. 2 additional Raxes. Oh my god. So, yeah, just a 5-rack setup here on 2 bases, as to be expected. 5-rack setup on 3 bases even. And yeah, Bjorn's just getting into his 1-1-1. Personally, I would love to see an ace match between these two. I would love to get into game number 3 as well, if we do get there. Just so I can keep up with everyone else, but we'll see. We'll see. Fingers crossed, Pappy. Fingers crossed. As for now, we're just settling into the mid-game, actually. Everything's looking as it should. We have 1-1 on the way. Armory as well. Likewise, we have +1 melee on the way from Solar. So this tells us that the Roaches are just for safety, that Solar intends to go for a more Ling Bane heavy composition instead. So Roach Ravager, Ling Bane out of Solar. He's not going for like a big 66 drone Roach all-in, for example, which is what we saw from Eggs earlier today against Masa. Tis what we saw from him. As Bjorn is looking to hit the field, moves out here with the rest of his Marines. Again, vying for map control. 1-1 about to kick in. We can see Solar is already taking up even further. We have an infestation bit on the way alongside the Baneling Nest. But Baneling Nest is delayed, which I'm a little bit concerned by, but that's why we have Roach Ravager to make up for it. It's going to be a long one. I can feel it, Papi. I can feel it. It's going to be a long one, Papi. All I can hear is live VIP and crafting sound. Let's go. Beautiful, beautiful. There it is. Hive is on the way. Double drop coming into the main base. So far, Solar able to keep up. Able to zone away that army. And so far, yeah, no kind of big clashes yet. It's really interesting, despite the fact that, despite Bjorn's opener, which is why I have to be a little bit concerned for Bjorn overall, just because he has been delaying his economy for quite some time. But here we go, he's been building up towards this one big push. Is going to be hitting with 1-1, 2-2 still on the way for Bjorn, but that's a lot of tanks. 5 tanks are being set up. We're pushing towards that 4th base. No Banelings are ready for this, only Lynx and Ravagers. 1 tank is going to go down, but Bjorn, he's forcing his way in between the bases. Towards that 3rd. So we dive into that mineral line. 5 workers going down. The Queens are looking a little bit exposed. Sorry, the tanks are looking a little bit exposed. Tanks will go down. At the same time, that's a cancel on the 5th base, so Bjorn is losing so much. He does get a couple of drones, that's true, but he lost every single one of his tanks, and that does not bode well. Does not bode well as Solar's trying to take advantage of his Hive Tech. We have Vipers on the way, Ultras as well. Doesn't have the best economy, unfortunately, but the quality of the army is going to be there for Solar. As Bjorn is pushing through the center. Creep is being cleaned up. The Rocks are going to be buying his Solar a little bit of time here. He does see the army with that creep. He's aware of its location. 4th base on the way behind this for Bjorn. Bjorn just being hyper aggressive here. He only has a single tank, so he does have to be careful. Does have to respect the army of Solar. This time bailing speed is done. This time Solar can fight this head on. Oh, as we do have a split push coming in. Bjorn, he's actually going for a drop at the same time. Bailings, they will connect on the right-hand side. It looks like drones are going down. Quite get to we got to see the tail end of it at least. Oh. As the Banshee is going ham here, we do see Bjorn being forced back for the time being. Bjorn rotating around across the map, but the Ultras are on the way. Oh, they're coming, Papi, they're coming. Ultras are on the way, and Bjorn is going to try to keep on pushing on the left-hand side. At least there's no creep to worry about, that I will say. Creep has been receding quite a lot, actually, as both armies are pretty comparable to each other. But here we go, we dive on in, this time with Vipers. Power bombs on the Medivacs. Oh, the Bile's actually taking out Medivacs as well, and Bjorn is on the retreat. He's just lost too much momentum. Remember, he's been bleeding out tanks throughout this entire game, and without tanks, there's just no backbone to this army. Is no backbone. The base is being shut down. Solo pushing in between the bases. You can see beyond plummeting supply here. We have Lynx harassing the 3rd base. We have Roach Ravager pushing in between as well. Biles is going to be connecting on the mines even. And it looks like Solar, he is doing it. He's breaking beyond here and now and is forcing that A smash. The boys are being pulled. They're going to do what they can. But already too many workers go down. GG gets called and Solar will take game number 2. We're getting an ace match, and this time you could hear the beeps. This time we are getting into game 3. Thank God. Here we go. We're in game. We can observe. We even have in-game sound as well. It's beautiful. It's the future, the technology spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Aura. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Bjorn. And spawning in the top left, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg representing Onside Gaming, tying up the series 1-1. It is Solar. Now, as we mentioned before, Bjorn was being hyper aggressive that last game. He delayed his 3rd base by so long to build up towards that 4 tank push, and the reality is that 4 tank push did not do enough damage. After that failed, Bjorn was behind, and he was trying to recover. He was being very aggressive, but you could see that it was kind of like a paper tiger sort of situation where Bjorn had a lot of Marines, but no tanks or Widow Mines really behind it to sustain himself. And he's going for a CC first. Oh my God. But again, basically the aggression of Bjorn killed him in the end in that last game, and Solo was able to snowball out of control and clench out that win. But here in the ace match, Bjorn is going for a CC into Expand, so CC into Rax. A very economic opener here out of Bjorn, and he shouldn't be punished. Solo, he's going for a Hatch Gas Pool. This can be punished by a fast Roach Warren from the Zerg player, but that's not what we're seeing here. We have a standard opener, unlikely for Solo to really be able to move out anytime soon and punish this anytime soon. So a solid start from Bjorn. Solid start from him. As we're settling into our game, I'm just trying to make sure that everything is okay. Just trying to make sure that I do have everything correctly set up here. Beautiful. As we just settle into our ace match. So far it is going to be, yeah, just a standard follow-up from this, off of a greedy opener. And Solar is getting into his third base on time, on location as well. So a standard opener out of Solar, just greedy out of Bjorn. It's a little bit too early to really determine how this game is going to go. Again, we missed out on game one, but Bjorn, he's known for his aggressive nature, and sometimes that can be his downfall as well, which is what we saw on Site Delta. I believe game one was on Alkyone. As the Ling is moving out. Just trying to get a read on what's going on. Solar, he sees the timing of the CC. He sees that the orbital's almost done at this point, and he should be able to recognize that this was a greedy economic opener. An economic opener into a 1-1-1. Not a third CC, so once again, aggression from Bjorn. Once again, a delayed third. That's Bjorn for you. That is Bjorn. Thanks for, yeah, big shout out to Chicken Man. Big shout out. Good friend of the channel, back. Good friend. Bjorn is going to be rotating around and trying to get a read on that third base. As I mentioned before, very aggressive opener. It's going to be for an initial drop. We have Hellions and Marines on the way. We have a Hellbat push actually from Bjorn. Armory is thrown down, so he's just doubling down here on the aggression. This isn't necessarily all in, but very committed from Bjorn. And if this doesn't get damage done, then Bjorn is behind. Straight up. He's just investing so much into this. He's delaying his third base by so much as well, just to make this push work. Back at home, Solar, he hasn't scouted. He doesn't know what's going on. He has an Overlord, but he hasn't gone into the main. How many queens do we have? We have 6 queens, soon to be 8 queens. Lings are coming out. No Bailey Nest, no Roach Warren. Just Ling Queen to defend. Now, it is possible to defend. It's going to be difficult, though. So here we go. The push is upon us. With only 6 queens, it is going to be difficult. Here we go. The Hellbats have been revealed. Immediately, Solar, he does pull back. Lings are on the way. Solar, he has control of the high ground. Zoning back the army. Behind this, Liberator and Stim on the way. And now Bjorn throws down the third base, but a very late third. And we're pushing in. Trying to force our way in. The Ling's getting ready for a surround. Trying to collapse on the Marines. And Bjorn, yeah, he doesn't, or he just isn't able to fully execute this. Back at home, Solar gets a full scout. He gets eyes on the third CC, and Solar's going to be feeling pretty good. Solar's going to be feeling pretty good about himself, because now he knows he can expand, take a 4th base. Liberator gets denied. Solar, he knows that he is free to tag. And what can Bjorn really do? He's going to rotate around and deny the 4th if it were to be on the way. This is probably the biggest criticism here that I have for Solar, is that his 4th is late. And that he could throw one down, but he's just dealing with this army first, making sure he's safe. At the same time, Liberator into the main base, gets a couple of hits in, but nothing too massive, nothing too major. Solar, he's up 2 workers. Sorry, 2? He's up 20 workers. Hellion drop into the main. He's gonna get some damage done. Never mind. Lings are in position. The Hellions are denied. Alien S on the way. Lair as well. Oh, the positioning of the Queens takes down the medevac. Massive pickoff. And again, this opener from Bjorn has not been worth it. There's the 4th base on the way. He's taking the linear 4th instead of the triangular 3rd as the 4th. Interesting choice. This will allow for Solar to just launch his creep across the map and threaten the southern bases of Bjorn. Also, because of the space location, he's expanding away from the Terran. not towards. He's double expanding even. This makes sense. I was kind of harping on this a little bit, but Solar, his fourth base is late, and Solar knows that, so he double expands. To catch up, to make up for how late this base is, why not just take 2? Transfuse a little bit too late. We get 1 queen. We don't quite get the other. A good pick off here from Bjorn, trading a marine for a queen. Bjorn is backing up, establishing himself on these 3 bases. Meanwhile, Solar, he's getting into his 1-1. He's taking up into a Hydrogen and Infestation Pit. Again, you can definitely argue that this tech is late. It is delayed from Solar. It does feel like he's just been very safe and very cautious, arguably overly so. You have Bjorn pushing forward, cleaning up a lot of this creep. Trying to pull apart the attention of Solar. We do have Banelings, but no Baneling speed. It's about to kick in a couple of seconds, and Banelings will connect. Ooh. Big connections here on the army. At the same time, we have a double drop on the right-hand side. 1 queen goes down. After the links, they get us around as well. And Solar, he may have lost a couple of queens, may have traded with the Ling Bane, but he hasn't lost workers. That's what's important. Solar, he's up to 86 drones. Doesn't need a drone up anymore from here. An ideal economy. And Bjorn is still 1 step behind. Maybe even more than 1. He's getting queens. Oh my god, 2 queens do go down. Yeah, Solar out of position with his Ling Bane. He overreacted to the drop. Ooh. But good connections nonetheless. Bjorn, he didn't have enough medevacs. There was no room. There was no room to pick up. Marines were left behind. And Bjorn, he's bleeding out too much. Now he's getting a 4 CC on location, but it is so late. And we mentioned this before. Sometimes the aggression of Bjorn kills him. Sometimes the aggression of Bjorn is just, yeah, really what hurts him in the end. We'll see if that's going to be the case here. Once again, going for a split push. Once again, just committing everything to the attack. Mine's going to be going up. Solar just collapsing on this army. And we do have a couple of medevacs moving out, and Solar not quite in position once again. Drones are going down. Good target firing here out of Bjorn. Oh my god, intentionally target firing every single worker. 13 drones go down. Bjorn, he's getting back into this. He's not quite there yet, but he's getting there. Unfortunately for Bjorn, Solar has been taking. We have Vipers on the way, Lurker Den, soon to be 3-3, or +3 carapace at least. Solar is 1 step ahead. But that was a good moment from Bjorn. It did force Solar to re-drone, resaturate, but Solar has maxed. And this time Solar has correctly split up his army. The mines! Oh my god, some massive mine shots on those lings! So many lings go down. A good trade from Bjorn. At the same time, clearing up a lot of creep on the right-hand side. Drop going into the main. Threatening a drop into the main. And Bjorn is doing well for himself. Again, his control is some of the best in the world. Despite being behind, he's slowly recovering. But can he get there? These lunkers, they're going to be on the way. How good are the mine shots going to be? Decent. Ooh, massive connections, actually, on those Banelings. Yeah, the Widow Mine's just popping off, and Solar having a hard time keeping up here. Meanwhile, Bjorn's economy has been left untouched. He has orbitals at his 4th. This is borderline illegal. So greedy having an orbital here. He has nothing at him to defend, but he's not being punished. Now, the worrisome thing, though, is that Bjorn is stuck on a low-tech army. Marine, mine. What are we missing? No ghosts. No ghosts. And once Solar trades, we're going to see a massive amount of workers coming out. Drop going to be coming in. Oh, Solar is being pulled apart. Once again, Solar having a really hard time keeping up. They're bleeding out a lot of Ling Bane. Doom drop into the third base, into the natural. Main army pushing on the right-hand side, and Solar is not ready for it. He has the army. He's just not in position. Drop going all the way into the main as well. No lurkers. If we had some lurkers here, then we could hold, but Solar, he's losing far too much. And Bjorn, has he done it? The jobs are being cleaned up. It's so close. Still no lurkers, by the way. No lurkers. The Hydras are going down, and Bjorn is breaking through. Just barely not. Just barely doesn't break through. Solar will hold. He doesn't have a bank, though. He cannot afford lurkers. And Bjorn can keep pushing. Again, Bjorn has been left untouched back at home. No run-bys, no counter-attacks, and the drop play continues. This still feels on a knife's edge. It feels like, again, if Solar's able to get a little bit of breathing room, then he will shut this down. Completely. We just need a couple of lurkers. That's all we really need. Here we go. The Banelings are connecting. Big connections. Banelings on the Marines once again as well. But it looks like we have overextended. Good split there on those medevacs. Drop into the main. Solar, he cannot keep up. He's been investing so much into these lurkers and never able to make them. And this rally is a breaking Solar. Oh my god. Solar, he's the last Zerg player in the tournament, but it looks like Bjorn has broken through. Reinforcements coming in. 1 Hydra's left. 0 Hydras left. Oh god, we have another wave of Hydras coming out. The boys may have to be pulled. But these are expensive losses for Solar. And again, Bjorn just continues to rally across the map. A very close game. The mines, they're resetting. There's no detection. Okay, there we go. We do have some detection available now. Solar, he barely holds. There it is, finally a couple of lurkers. If we had these earlier, 100% a cleaner hold. A much cleaner hold would have been had here for Solar. Meanwhile, Bjorn, I think he knows that he's on a timer. He knows that he's being outscaled and he needs to shut down these lurkers. Once they arrive, it completely changes the dynamic of this game. Like, Bjorn has no gas. He has no gases back at home. Bjorn has been very all-in with Marine Mine. That's why he's been so aggressive. Oh, the mines. Not quite going to be connecting here. Nothing protecting these Hydras. Where are the lurkers? They're not here. We need them. As it looks like Bjorn has done it. The lurkers, they're just nowhere to be found. They're now coming in, but a little bit too little too late. As Solar is going to be losing everything here. GG gets called and Bjorn does it. He comes back from a deficit. He pulls off the 8 racks. GG gets called and Bjorn will take the series 2-1. GG. God, that was such a risky playstyle. But that was an 8 racks all in at a Bjorn. Again, just pure Marine Mine. No gases, no Marauders, no Ghosts, no nothing else. Just pure aggression at a Bjorn. And Solar was arguably a little bit too lax. I do think that Solar, he gave Bjorn a lot of breathing room, more so than he needed to, and he allowed Bjorn to not be punished, right? This playstyle from Bjorn can be punished quite hard. I think another big thing that maybe Solar didn't realize, because it was an 8 racks all in, even Lair Tech Lurkers do so well against this. You don't need to wait for the Hive upgrades to finish to actually get into Lurker production and actually have a stable defense against that kind of army. Solar was just waiting for that Hive, and GG. GG, well played. And just like that, Bjorn advances on to the grand finals. Meanwhile, we are heading over to the Americas. Can we catch him? Or are we too late? I was a little bit late to switch regions. Oh god. Don't leave us behind. No! Feels bad, man. 1 minute too late. 1 minute, papi. Ay, ay, ay. Looks like we did miss the series. Ah. Yeah, that's my fault. I did take a little bit too long switching regions, and it looks like they started without us. But so Beyond does advance on to the grand finals, and up next is going to be Creator versus Clem, if I'm not mistaken. Creator versus Clem, currently ongoing. Not too sure as to the score, but yeah, that's on me. I should have been a little bit faster to hop over. Should have been faster, but yeah, with that, Björn is waiting, and he's gonna be waiting for either Creator or Clem to make it into the next round, into the finals. We will get ready for it. So I guess we're going to be going on a short break. I don't have permission to restream from any of the casters that made it in, so we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have either Creator or Clem up next. I think they're in game one. I hope they're in game one. I don't actually know whether they're in game one, game two, or game three. So we are gonna take a moment here. And yeah, enjoy the break. Enjoy the break. When we come back, we'll have some more StarCraft. See you soon. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for the extended break. I apologize for the constant downtime that we've been having. It's been a very unlucky cast for ESL Open Cup Americas, but we're back. We're here in the upper semifinals. We may have missed out on a bunch of games already. So apologize, but we are here in the ace match. Game number 3 between these two lovely players. The winner of this series will advance on to the grand finals to face off against Beyond. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our South Korean Protoss. Representing Club NV, it is Creator. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the French Terran player. Representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. Unfortunately, we missed out on game 1. We missed out on game 2 by 10 seconds. Literally seconds. Like, still smudging a little bit, but still smudging. So I apologize for all the downtime, but for those that stuck around, you've been rewarded. Rewarded by the ace match. The final game between these two, and for those who were here last night, you would know that Creator, he is last night's ESL Open Cup Asia champion, and Creator, he became last night's champion off of the back of PVT. Creator last night, he took down Gumiho, took down Byeon, and he took down Kyor, the best of the best Terrans in Korea. He took them all down one after the other, and he became the champion. And now what do we have here? In ESL Americas, we have Clem, who's a Terran, and Beyond in the finals, who's a Terran as well. Can Creator do it again? Can he win another tournament off of PVT? I'm ready for it. I am ready for it. As a reminder, of course, Solo was the Zerg representative in the semis, was eliminated. Now only Protoss and Terran remain, just like last night. To be expected. To be expected. That is 2 days in a row where Dark has been MIA. We didn't see him last night, and I was like, oh, maybe we'll see him this morning for ESL Americas, but no, Dark didn't sign up here either, so hopefully everything is okay. Hopefully nothing serious is going on, and we're able to see more of Dark in the coming days and in the coming week once we get up to KSL, most likely, once we get up to KSL. Until then, though, we are getting into our openers, and interesting, a double gas opener out of Clem. He went Rax Factory into CC, so a delayed expansion here from our blue Terran player. Meanwhile, back at home, Creator just going for a standard opener. It was a Gate Cyber Expand, so standard stuff out of Creator, and his tech of choice is going to be a Twilight Council. Twilight Council is on the way. Should be a Blink opener here out of Creator, and we'll see what kind of direction he takes us in. Again, we saw plenty of Blink openers last night, getting into Blink Stalkers, getting into Colossi, and God, Creator was just on fire last night, taking down Terran after Terran. But here we go. Back at home, Clem is going to be opening up with some Widow Mines, getting into a mine drop here. As a reminder, Clem has taken the role of the aggressor just because of his delayed CC, so Clem is going to be in the face of Creator. Creator, so far, none the wiser, as he's chilling back at home, getting into Blink as we mentioned, and getting into additional gateways as well. So far, only 2 gateways. So far, it's looking like an economic opener. As I say that, I have to eat my words. I thought this was going to be a robo. No, it's going to be another gateway. 3 gate opener here out of Creator. This is to gain map control. This is to eventually expand as well. We should be seeing an expansion soon. This isn't overly aggressive. Again, just enough to get map control. Very safe opener out of Creator. Meanwhile, here comes a drop. Do you have a mine in the medevac? We have Marines on the ground, and we are diving for that main base. Oh my god, going for a Marine drop into said main. Actually, we can go for the pylon. Pylon is under threat, taking a lot of hits already. Medevac going to be keeping these Marines alive. Good juggling here out of Clem. And the pylon will go down. Depowering one of those gateways. Good amount of damage is done here. We can chip away at the cyber core as well, but we should be okay. Cyclone's moving out. We're trying to pull apart the opponents, trying to pull apart Creator even. We dive on top of the army. Stalkers forced back. Boys are being pulled so far. 1 Stalker will go down at the same time. Cyclone dives into the natural base, does bypass that shield battery. Probes are falling. Damage is being done. 6 workers, 7 workers go down. We will clean this up, but not without sustaining quite a lot of damage. 8 probes and a lot of lost mining time. Clem We mentioned that he had to get damage done with this opener, and he did. And now as a result, he's ahead. He's ahead economically, looking good, looking strong. But now Creator can counterattack. Remember, it was a 3-gate opener, which means he has more units than normal. Prism is on the way, and now it's going to be on Clem to survive. It's going to be on Clem to, not survive, but, minimize losses as Creator is pushing. We'll see if he can keep up. Stalkers have arrived. One SCV going to be going down. We go straight for the army, actually. Ignoring that worker. A couple of Marines go down, but the tank has arrived. Oof. Big tank volley going to be going off on the army. At the same time, Liberator across the map as well. I believe we just warped in, which means we don't have a defensive warp in back at home. 0 mining at the natural. We're diving on top of the tank. Oh, a bit of a misclick there, but the tank is going to go down. Is it worth it, though? Because so many Stalkers are going down. Maybe an overextension here out of Creator, as he is down to 5 Stalkers remaining. Still no mining here at the natural either. And Clem will hold. Clem will force Creator back, and Clem still maintains a worker lead. Finally, the Liberator is going to go down, but it took a long time for this to occur, and Clem is still in a commanding position. He did lose a tank, is what I will say. He did lose one of his tanks, and we're coming back into the main. Clem doesn't see this. He doesn't know SCVs are getting picked off, and Creator, he needs to get damage done. This is necessary. He gets 3. He gets 4 SCVs, not bad. Not a bad start for Creator. But the tank has arrived, sieged in the main. We have another tank here at the natural. Clem is looking quite heavily fortified here on 2 bases. Clem still is ahead economically. This 3rd base is it's so late. Such a late 3rd here from Creator. And this is only a best of 3. The pressure is on. Only a best of 3, not a best of 5. We have very little room for error. We recall that Prism back home. There we go. Banshee is moving out. Creator just trying to keep up here. The Stalker's very low, what little Stalkers are left. Do we have Cloak? We do not have Cloak. So this Banshee shouldn't get too much done. It should be dealt with without too much issue, but there's a lot of shoulds there. A lot of shoulds as we have a 3rd CC on the way. Stim alongside +1 and combat shields as well. And Clem is going for a 3rd CC, so he's just getting further ahead, working on his 3rd base. Back at home, we have our splash damage of choice. It's going to be Storm. Storm is on the way, which will help. It does mean that even if Creator, he's down in army supply, he can make up for that with Storms. And here we go. We have 2 High Templar already in this Prism. And it looks like we're going for a Storm drop for into the mineral line, and there's a lot of potential. There's so much damage that can occur here. Observer gets picked off. Army's in the midst of moving out. That is a Marauder heavy composition. Do not get the medevac. Sorry, we don't get the Widow Mine. And we're going for the army. Up! Up! Oh my god. It was okay Storms, but the split was better. The Storms don't do any damage, and Creator's on the back foot. Storm has been revealed, and now Clem is pushing across the map. And I mentioned before that there was potential with Storm, but they were spent. The Storms were spent, and now Creator's on the back foot. He's bleeding out Stalkers as he retreats. He does have two more Storms. But even if they connect... decent Storm here on the army. A better Storm here on the right-hand side, but there are still so many Marines. We stim on forward. We take down the Archon. And do we have a Storm left in that Prism? Forcing back the army, but the 3 tanks there within range of the production. Gateway goes down, 2nd gateway as well. Creator, he is down to 4 gates. Trying to go for another warp in. We have charged the Storms. No, they do not connect. 0 Storms left. We dive on the army. We get on top of the tanks. But the Marine Marauder stims on forward. Do we have an overcharge? Oh. We do not. And it looks like Clem has too much. GG gets called, and Clem will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Creator was doing well, but off of the opener, off of the counterattack, losing and bleeding out too many Stalkers. That was the only issue there, just bleeding out so many Stalkers. When he tried to reciprocate the damage, it meant that he had nothing left. It meant that the push from Clem would go uncontested. Likewise, the first two storms were less than ideal, were not what we needed, and Clem was able to take the series in the end 2-1. A lot of that was off of the back of the opener as well. Remember, how many workers did he kill? He killed like 8 probes, and that Liberator. It was so unfortunate for Creator. Remember, the Liberator showed up as soon as he warped in across the map, which meant that he didn't have defensive warp-ins, which meant that for so long he wasn't mining from his natural. There's just so much that went wrong for Creator, and so much that went right for Clem. GG. GG, well played. With that, we are going to be getting into the grand finals. It's going to be a TVT between Clem and Beyond. Here we go. The TVTs are upon us. It's going to be a best of 5 as a reminder, and predictions will be open for the grand finals. Predictions will be open, and as we get ready for the grand finals, a big shout out as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid, Bomi Yolja. I'm not too sure if I said that correctly. Bomyolja, thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Thank you, Papi. Thank you. Successful ladder stream for me. Enjoy the cast, and thanks for all you do for casting under the sun. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad you appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoy it. I remember you came a couple of weeks ago when Gemini raided us with the All Things Protoss. So I hope you had a good stream. I do apologize as well because unfortunately, it's a TVT finals, not a Protoss, unfortunately. So I hope the finals lives up to your expectations as we're getting into the finals. Vetoes are underway, and predictions will soon be open. They will soon be open. And because of that, we are going to be going on a short break, I believe. We're going to be going on a short break while we get ready for the grand finals. Let me just set that up. Again, predictions nowadays, they take a little bit longer than normal. But yeah, it is going to be that Terran versus Terran. Once we wrap up here, this will not be our last broadcast of the day. I know we've already casted 2 events. But in 6 hours time, I am planning to go live once again with a catch-up stream for KSL number 32. We of course casted KSL live this weekend, but the week before that we missed a week of KSL, and I am not one to miss any casting. I'm not one to miss any StarCraft, so we will be doing a catch-up stream in 6 hours. So if you are still around, if you still want some more StarCraft, we got you covered with the KSL. With the Korean StarCraft League, So that will be upon us soon to you. Until then, we're going to be going on a very short break. Enjoy the duct tapes from times gone by, and we'll see you guys in a couple of minutes with the finals. See you soon.
Should we go in Spanish this one?
Do it.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Alright, I don't know if I can do this. Alright, let's try. Aquí, en esta esquina de la mapa, es un Terran player. Es rojo, es rojo. Y a la izquierda.
Ooh.
I don't know my directions perfectly, but I believe it's izquierda.
Yeah.
A la izquierda, este jugador es verde y es un Terran y es el final map. Si puede ganar, yo creo. Es Boga.
¿Y juntos qué son?
Y juntos son los antimancos. We did it. We did it.
That was better than what I could have done.
It was better than what I expected.
En el sur, en el derecho, izquierda, derecho. Aquí en la mapa, en la esquina tenemos el azul Terran, tenemos Marea y su what's teammate? Su compadre, su amigo, su enamorada, no sé qué es, pero aquí tenemos el Protoss, es azul, es Derki y juntos son el equipo, los lamas.
Los llamas. How do you say llama in Spanish?
Llama, yeah, maybe.
Right? Just llama?
Yeah.
I don't know either. I completely skipped trying to go for north or south. That was going to be an impossible one for me.
And coming live from the Plaga de Cuto Beach on the Isles of Pine, from the Lagoy part of Bintan Island, from Karagandi in Kazakhstan. We are here with the 29th edition of ESL Pro Tour Open Cup Asia Division. I am your host, Yaku of the Zaku, and with me today I have La Pastora, que es allergica a la pasta. El jugador del bolos con todos los cajolers. Wait. I have El Narado que saca todos los caimanes himself, Light_VIP. How are you doing, Light?
What's up, Yaku? We're back. Good. The entire time I was like, why can't I add you? Like, I'm looking for you in the list, and this fucking guy.
Well, here we are in our. Oh my God! It's not a ZVZ.
Oh my God.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that duct tape from times gone by, as we have returned with the grand finals of ESL Open Cup number 200. Americas, Papi Americas. Predictions in the chat are open. Upon hearing this message, you have a couple of minutes to place your bets on who you think is going to be this week's champion. Is it going to be one Terran or the other? Up to you to decide. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hecate, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Byun. And spawning in the top right, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Predictions open. There we go. Whew. As a reminder, this is going to be a best of 5, not a best of 3, so we're going to have that many more games between our players. Creator, he was denied his back-to-back victory. He was shut down in the semis by Clem. He looked damn good last night, but struggled in the early game against Clem's aggression, and Creator did end up falling in the end. And now it comes down to Byun, who stands in his way instead. And historically, Byun has a winning record against Clem. Historically, Clem has struggled against the more active style of Byun, but over the past couple of months, Clem has been improving, and it has been more back and forth between Clem and Byun. It hasn't been as one-sided as it once was, so I want to believe that this is going to be a more back and forth. When it comes to the dynamic of this TVT, it is very unique. Byun has a very unique style of TVT that very few players adopt. I think the only one that really plays like Byun in TVT is Oliveira.
as we're going for a racked expand here on the high ground. Likewise, Clem going for his expand on the high ground as well. And what I mean by Beyond's playstyle is that very often and very frequently, instead of going for the quote-unquote traditional form of mech, which is Tank Viking, like Tank Viking Raven, Beyond skips Ravens, he skips Vikings, he goes for smaller tank count and a higher marine count, and he goes for a big drop style, right? Just constantly counterattacking, constantly doom dropping as well. Sometimes it works against him. It's a very aggressive style. It's very much so on a knife's edge, and if he doesn't trade well enough, if he isn't able to pull apart his opponent, then the quality of the army for the defending Terran player who goes typically Tank Viking will exceed and supersede what Beyond has and will snowball out of control. So it's, again, a very risky style out of Beyond, but when it works, boy, does it work. It's very impressive, very impressive. It's just a very fun, very flashy style to get behind and to cheer for, to root for. But we'll see if we head in that direction. What is also important is that Beyond doesn't have to play that way. He can, you know, embrace that Tank Viking slower style of play, and he doesn't enjoy it, sure, but he does do it from time to time, especially if he's forced to slow the game down, especially if the pace does, again, falter. But now Beyond is taking a faster base. He's not waiting to morph into an orbital, so his expansion is going to be a little bit faster on location. Meanwhile, Clem is waiting to morph in the orbital before going for his own natural base. Back at home, we have a 1-1-1 follow-up with just building up the Hellion count. Likewise, Beyond is also doing the same. We have a safety Raven on the way here for Beyond. Interesting choice. We'll see if he does commit and invest into something like Interference Matrix. Meanwhile, Clem is going for a Banshee first. I love this, adopting the Korean style. Mixing in one Banshee and TVT has been quite popular amongst players like Beyond and Maru. They do love to just mix in one random Banshee to try to sneak around and get some worker kills and really catch the Terran player off guard. This shouldn't be a big commitment. We should be transitioning into Ravens from here, but one Banshee has potential, has some value. Meanwhile, Clem is going for an actually quite terrifying army early on. He's going for Hellions. He's getting into Cyclones behind this as well before going for the add-on swap. There's that first Banshee into Raven. So the follow-up is standard, but this opener here is very aggressive from Clem. Is going to be pushing out the Raven. Does spot this. Is not going to be at home to defend. And what do we have at home to defend? Uh-oh. We have the Hellions that are meeting here in the center of the map, and already the lock-ons are real. The Hellions, they take a lot of hits already. They're so battered, so bruised, and they're all going to go down. 2 Hellions survive. Meanwhile, Clem is not slowing down. He's pushing across the map. We have an auto turret at home to buy some time. The boys have to be pulled, but this may just be too much. Yeah, Clem, he's busting on through. He takes control of the natural, and before we can talk about the mid-game, in the early game, Clem is just snowballing out of control. The boys are pulled into Hellions. You hate to see it. So many of them get roasted. GG gets called. It's just far too much, and Clem will take game number 1. GG. Not allowing Beyond to get into the mid game, not allowing the game to go on any longer, straight off the bat out of the openers, or with the openers. Clem just, yeah, getting out of control, taking control of the early game here, and was able to, yeah, just gets far too much damage done. Beyond wasn't ready for it. It was unfortunate that he got caught out in the center of the map. It's also unfortunate that he wasn't able to get a read on it, what exactly was happening, what exactly Clem was up to. And just like that, game 1 goes in favor of Clem. Now, we didn't really get to get a lot out of game 1. It was over before it really began, and we never really got to get into the mid game or more of a back and forth. Just off of the openers, things went in favor of Clem. And yeah, we'll see if we can get a longer game, a bit of a longer game out of these two in game number 2. I always love that one. Epic Yaku intro. I miss the Yaku intros. For some context, Yaku was renowned for how long his intros were, and we'd have a lot of fun with it as well. Again, I've mentioned this before, but you know, recently Yaku has been focusing a lot more on his studies. He's not as available to cast anymore. But I try to get Yaku whenever I can. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Site Delta. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion down in this series, but not out. It's the best of 5. It is Beyond.
And spawning in the top left, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Currently up 1-0 in this series. And we'll see if he can extend that lead, as Bjorn is going to be checking with his SCVs. It looks like he's checking for any kind of proxies thrown out on the map, making sure that everything is as it should be. No, never mind, he's going to be committing across the map as well. Oh, I need it. That's not good. Hello, Monster Energy, and hello, ESL Pro Tour. We were casting the ESL Masters Americas region just before this, so I will have to get rid of this logos mod. I guess it's kind of related. It does have EPT. But we do have a Rax being proxied out on the map, and one Rax back at home. Bjorn looking to be aggressive here in the early game, looking to go for Mass Reaper and try to catch his opponent off guard. Now, this isn't the most committed proxy to Rax, because there's only one proxied and one back at home, so not the most committed build, but can definitely catch the Terran player off guard, especially if Clem goes for an economic opener. And that's exactly what's happening. Clem is going for a Rax expand, a single gas here in the main base, very economic out of Clem, and Bjorn is looking to punish this. Reapers are on the way. Bjorn is going to be looking to try and get some economic damage done, delay the CC if possible, and get into the main base, kill some of those SCVs. Until then, Clem is moving out. Bold move here by Clem, just checking these proxy locations. He shouldn't be committing across the map, not with one Reaper. There's a death sentence if you try to do that. Just a very risky maneuver. Here we go, the Reapers, they have arrived. They do focus down the first Marine. Oh, we're going to be trading a Marine for a Reaper. Not a good trade here for Bjorn. But he does shoot first. He did shoot first. But losing one Reaper is already brutal, and that means that this CC, it's going to finish. Yeah, the orbital, well, the command center is going to finish on the low ground. Bjorn is forced back. And Clem is looking pretty secure. Again, if Bjorn had just kept one of his Reapers alive, he could have kept pushing, could have kept being aggressive. The bunker finishes as well. We do manage to break through, though. We're going to be able to snipe a couple of those workers. At least two. But we're not getting much more than that. This time, Bjorn, he does preserve his unit count. Behind this is getting his CC on the low ground, but it's so late compared to Clem. A very delayed CC. Bjorn, he needs to get damage done. He needs to kill some workers. This is Cyclone. Cyclone is in position. Bjorn cannot find a way into the main. And as the dust settles, I want to give the edge to Clem overall. He's making 2 workers at a time. He's muling as well, getting into his 1-1-1 setup. Back at home, Bjorn getting into a 2-1-1 setup instead. You can see that the pressure is still on him, so he's getting a tank and a medevac. Basically, Bjorn is going to be loading up and dropping across the map as soon as possible to try to get even more damage done. The pressure is on. The stream the other day was good. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun casting with Yaku again. It was good. Here we go as Reapers are moving out. We have the tank follow-up as well. The goal here is to try to get within range and maybe even take down some of the add-ons here of these buildings. Of the production. Actually, we're just going straight for the main. Okay. I was like, are we gonna go? We're gonna drop into the main? Never mind, as the tank does manage to get a big volley up on the army. Marine does go down, but we do get the reactor. It's something. The reactor goes down with it. We're within range of the depot as well. The depot will fall. Never mind, Depot barely surviving here as we do shut down the medevac. Oh my god! Bjorn flying too close to the sun. He got burned, and
Clem, not in a bad position here. That medevac was a massive pickoff. Behind this, he's banking up his Ravens. We have Interference Matrix on the way for the disables. It means that even if Bjorn has a tank lead, we don't care. We have Ravens. We can deny them. We can shut them down. And Clem, he can break free. There is a Viking, but a single Viking is not going to be enough to stop the Ravens, and there are the disables. Even the auto turrets. Pick your poison. Either one will clean up this army, and Bjorn loses everything. And from here, Clem, he can just snowball out of control. We do have a third CC on location. Very greedy move here out of Bjorn. A very necessary move to try to catch back up. We are buying a lot of time though. SCVs are going down, and the entire army of Clem comes back into the main. The entire army turned around just to clean up these Reapers, and that means that Bjorn, he buys enough time to get this CC up and running. He's recovering back at home, getting more tanks, getting more Marines. Now, Clem is still ahead. He is still in a pretty damn good position, but Bjorn, you know, he's trying to catch back up. Liberator arrives as well. SCVs are getting picked up. 3, 4, 5 SCV. Oh my god. 5 SCVs. A good trade for Bjorn. Meanwhile, Clem, he already has his third getting up and running. So Bjorn isn't able to take an economic lead, but he's trying to catch up. Trying to keep up. As the drop play doesn't stop. Stim is already done for Bjorn, bear that in mind. Stim only just now starting for Clem. Again, to put emphasis on the fact that Bjorn, he does love this drop heavy style in TVT. It's something that he relies on, and it's something that can get a lot done. As Clem pushes out, the drop is going to be slipping on in, and we're going to get a lot of SCV kills. SCVs are going down the base under threat. Clem has to commit. He has to go for the third base of Bjorn as well. The base taking a lot of hits. Auto turrets are thrown down. Third base of Clem will survive. Can I say the same for Bjorn, as it is going to go down? A massive pickoff. Bjorn losing his base, getting supply blocked as well. He is going to be threatening a drop into the natural. The SimCity working against Clem. Natural base getting very congested. Disable not fast enough. Quick moves out of Bjorn, able to save the tank. And Bjorn is getting a lot done. 10 SCVs. Ooh. 10 SCVs. We do see Clem camping some of the production. Bjorn going for another double drop. Now, Clem did keep his base alive, but Bjorn, he's coming in once again. This time with tanks. This time with 2 tanks. And with Clem not turning back around, he's in a bit of trouble. We do have reinforcements, though. The tanks are trying to siege up. The boys have to be pulled, and it looks like Bjorn should be cleaned up. Yeah, Clem has too much in position, and this trade was not worth it for Bjorn. He's going to be losing everything. That was 2 tanks. Not like this. Disable is real, and Clem is getting in position. Tank goes down. Bjorn is falling further and further behind. Bold move, he's going for another drop. But there's nothing to drop, there's just nothing left. There are no Marines, papi. Not anymore. And here come the reinforcements. Here comes the second wave. Bjorn, he's already struggling to deal with this. He's already struggling. The boys are being pulled. The Vikings, they land. And these SCVs are going to get annihilated. GG gets called, and Clem will take a 2-0 lead in this series. GG. GG, well played. Clem is one game away from becoming this week's ESL Open Cup Americas champion. Bjorn is struggling, and a lot of this comes down to the early game. That's the reality of this TVT so far. Game 1, Clem won with his opener. If you weren't here for it, Clem, he opened up with a reactor on his factories, he got an abundance of Hellions and Reapers, Hellions and Cyclones out. He just killed Beyond before Beyond could even get his natural up and running. Here in game number 2, Beyond opened up 2 racks. He opened up 1 rack back at home, 1 across the map, and he lost his first Reaper. If you remember, he lost a Reaper really early on, which meant that he could not snowball out of control. He couldn't take control of the natural, and Clem got away with a Rax Expand, an economic opener that was supposed to be punished, by the way. Wasn't punished at all. Clem had an amazing start, and Björn was put behind and was never able to fully recover. We saw a lot of drop play out of Björn, but it wasn't enough to recoup his losses after the early game, after a delayed natural, after a delayed third base. Björn was just constantly behind in the economy, as a result, behind in the army. And now we're getting ready for game 3, and I want to say that if both players are on an even footing, I want to give the edge to Björn, but we're not getting an even footing, you know? Like, Björn has been struggling to really get the ball rolling, and we'll see if he can pull it back here in game 3. He needs to, here and now. Here and now. See the chat. Why doesn't Björn go 2 racks Reaper anymore in TVT? 2 racks Reaper has fallen out of fashion. It's fallen out of fashion quite a lot. You even saw it in this game where a lot of Terran players are just so used to scouting nowadays, because 2 racks Reaper was so common in the last map pool. And this is a really bad map for it. Side Delta specifically is a really bad map for 2 racks Reaper because of the Reaper cliff leading into the main. But here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Hard Lead, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion, down 0-2 in this series. He needs to fight back here and now. It is Björn. And spawning in the top left, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. But I don't know if you remember, but specifically on Side Delta, the Reaper cliff going into Side Delta is very narrow. It is it's like a 1 hex Reaper cliff with like a path leading into it as well. So it is just very difficult to commit to any kind of early game Reaper aggression on Side Delta specifically. So something like 2 racks Reaper, you're not gonna see it. You're not gonna see it, not on Side Delta. It's awful, map. It's awful. This is a better map for it, but the problem with this map is that it's a double cliff. It is a double Reaper cliff to go up into the main, which means the defending player has even more time to get free shots off and to slow down the overall push and to gain momentum. So in general, a lot of these new maps are really not friendly for proxy Raxes, like Side Delta or here like Hard Lead as well, which is why we haven't been seeing them as often. Not just from Björn, but in general amongst the population of players, Kyor, Maru, Clem, Gumiho, players that used to 2 racks Reaper very frequently in the last map pool. In this one, not so much. And again, cheesing like that or proxying like that is very map dependent. As we're getting into this, we do have an economic opener out of Björn. It's going to be a racked expand. Meanwhile, Clem is going for a double gas opener, so Clem is going to be the aggressor here in game number 3. Going for a faster factory, which will lead into, of course, faster tech and more aggression. The roles have been picked, and we'll see if Björn is going to get punished or not. There's our expansion, so Clem is not going for a 1-1-1 off of 1 base. He's not going for a 1 base all in, he's expanding, as to be expected. There's that starport on the way. No add-on swap is going to be available here, and with this we could even go for a fast Banshee. By the time the starport, okay, we could go in a couple of different directions. We can go for a tank first into a medevac for a tank drop, or we could go for an add-on swap instead, but it looks like the add-on is finishing up a lot faster here, so show us what you got. Okay, wait. Add-on swap back. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And with this, we could try to go for a Banshee first again, something that we have already seen in this series. Back at home, likewise, Björn going into his own 1-1-1, going for a safety Cyclone. And there it is, there's the Banshee. Banshee before Raven. And there's so much potential with this opener, with those early game Banshees.
We'll see if Bjorn can keep up. For now, they're just working on his Marines. Cyclones are on the way. There's that medevac, so it looks like Bjorn is intending to push out with this army. There's a lot of firepower here. There's a lot of DPS, especially with those 2 Cyclones. It's going to be on whether or not the tank is in a good position to defend. This tank is going to be, it's going to be all about the tank position here to hold on for Clem and to survive. And here we go. Drop is moving out at the same time. Here comes that Banshee. Uh-oh. It's actually going to be coming across the drop itself. And Bjorn can shut this down. Did spot the Banshee, but doesn't chase it. He has Marines in position back at home. It looks like, yep, Clem, he did see the drop. He is reacting to it. The tank is in position. And the boys have to be pulled. They do get locked onto the tank. It's gonna go down. Big pick off. Tank falls at the same time. Banshees across the map, getting a couple of SCVs, getting 3. Not bad. 3 workers do go down. Meanwhile, the Marines that don't have stim, and likewise Clem also sustaining quite a lot of losses here. Oh my god, 4 or 5 SCVs. At the same time, Banshee still wreaking havoc here across the map. Bjorn may have killed some workers, but he's also losing so much more. He's not done though. He is not done. In the end, we're going to be trading 11 SCVs for 11 SCVs. And remember, Bjorn did go for a more economic opener, so he is naturally ahead in the worker count. The pressure was on Clem to kill workers, not on Bjorn. So for Bjorn to trade evenly is crazy. Oh no! As he will lose the medevac, will lose the Cyclones. So Bjorn, he's ahead in the economy. Clem doesn't have the biggest army lead. He's going to be up in tanks, I guess, but Bjorn has Ravens, has Disable available, did research interference matrix. What? Anti-armor missile. Interference matrix. That's it. He's got both of them even. Going to be harassing with these auto turrets, and this is the first game where Bjorn is ahead in the early game. This is the first time this series, this entire best of 5, where Bjorn is ahead in the early game, and with this he is comfortable. He's able to take his 3rd base, able to muster up his army, and the pressure isn't on him, not anymore. It's on Clem. Things are looking up for Bjorn. Things are looking good for the Korean Terran. Can we make a series out of this? Can we take a game and force a game 4, even a game 5? We'll see, because Clem is pushing. And Clem is pretty committed. He's down 6 workers. His 3rd base now being taken on location. He's trying to catch back up. Now the goal here for Clem is to contain. If he's able to deny this third and keep Bjorn on 2 bases, that's going to be ideal. But before that can happen, the armies are clashing. Ravens are coming in. 1 Raven is going to be going down. Big overextension out of Bjorn. That was a bit of a misstep. Clem is going to unsiege, is going to back off, and he wants to rotate around towards his 3rd. Or does he? He actually moves out of scan range and he comes back in. Bjorn, he doesn't know.
Additional supply depot.
He doesn't know where the army is, and here we go. He does dive in. Raven barely surviving. Tank volleys are going up. Oh, Clem a little bit too close. Loses a tank. A little bit brutal. Oh my god! He lands the Vikings. Pushes forward with his tanks, but he loses his air control. Raven goes down. And that was a big overextension from Clem. Yeah, losing almost all of his Vikings. And the tanks are going to go down as well. And Bjorn is cleaning this army up. Clem just misjudging the situation for one moment. GG gets called, and Bjorn will take game number 3. We have a series. We have a series. Let's go. We have a back and forth. We're getting into game 4.
And as we get ready for game number 4, a big shout out to Air Orange in the chat. Gah, papi, gah. Thank you so much for resubscribing for 23 months. That is almost 2 years of support. Thank you, papi, thank you. We always appreciate it. Airblade Orange been supporting us for a very long time. Thank you, thank you. Hope you've been enjoying the broadcast. Hope you've been enjoying this lovely day of StarCraft. As hopefully we go the distance, and hopefully this isn't the beginning of the end. Hopefully we can get a game 5 out of this as we're loading in to Alcyone. Loading on in. All I want is a game 5, but here we go. We'll see if this player here can make the comeback of reality. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Alcyone, we have the South Korean Terran player putting a point on the board, fighting back in the grand finals of ESL Open Cup Americas, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Bjorn. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran player representing Team Liquid. Still 1 game away from becoming this week's champion. It is Clem. He still needs 1 more. He still needs uno más. As we're getting into game 4. Again, Alcyone is an interesting one. Typically, it is a very macro-oriented map, but we have seen a lot of aggression here, especially pushing in towards the main base, from this triangular third base even as well. We've seen a lot of drop play. You can, of course, cut the map in half as well. I haven't seen too many late-game TVTs on Alcyone, but I want to say that there's a lot of potential for it, as Bjorn, oh my god! Bjorn is going for a CC first! Before racks, before gas, before anything. This is as greedy as you can get. Clem, meanwhile, going for an aggressive opener, going double gas. I am concerned. Okay, so Alcyone has a reputation of being a very macro-oriented map. As a result, Bjorn is gambling, I think. He's gambling and hoping that Clem goes for a Rax expand. But Clem is going for a double gas opener, which means a faster factory. He's going for an SCV scout. He sees the CC on the low ground. He sees the factory being made. And now Clem knows it's a window. He knows that there is now a window available where he can punish Bjorn. And Clem is set up for it. Oh boy. Bunker is on the way already, just being a nuisance, going for the RNG. He does get onto the other side of the wall. But there's still a lot of progression that we have to work on here, and I don't think this bunker should finish. It's gonna get going, don't get me wrong, but we should be able to shut down this SCV at some point with this. No, never mind, it's gonna finish. Up! What a bus! Hit him! Up! Oh my god. We have the Marine coming out, and it looks like the bunker will complete just barely. Oh my god, that was so close. The Marine does arrive, and this bunker means 0 mining at the natural. It means that Bjorn cannot take advantage of his economic opener. Behind this, Hellions are on the way. Additional Reapers as well. Boys are being pulled. Gases are late here for Bjorn as well, which means up! Oh my god, the Reaper barely survives. And we'll make it a little bit longer, but we do have a second Marine. Reaper barely gets the hell out of there. We have a second Reaper coming in. Cyclone is on the way. The Cyclone will spell an end to this aggression, but we're not quite there yet. We need more time. Ooh, big overextension from Clem. He loses one of his Reapers a little bit needlessly. And just got a little bit too greedy there. He is still denying mining time, but has significantly less firepower. I say significant because there are a few units here to work with. Every unit counts. Every unit matters. Cyclone gets a lock on the Hellion. And eventually, Bjorn can resume mining here at the natural. We should force a salvage. And, ooh, barely 1 second left. The salvage does go off. Back at home, Clem is expanding on location, and he's going for a drop. Medevac is on the way. 2 Cyclones. Clem is going to be ramping up the aggression. He's going to be keeping up the pressure here and going straight for a third CC. I love this. So
here in the early game, Bjorn is ahead economically. He is up in workers, he's up in mules. He has a better economy straight up. But can he maintain that economy? Because Clem is going to be pushing out soon once he repairs. And Clem is looking to take a faster third to catch up. Clem is looking to kill workers and also make more as we get into the mid game. This is historically just a really common way to catch up. If you know that you're behind in your natural based timing in the TVT, you just get a faster third. Meanwhile, Bjorn is not taking this lying down. He's going for his own drop play as well. A cyclone drop from both players. We do have some Marines back at home, but Marines are going to have a hard time keeping up. As the drops are coming in, SCV is going to be going down. 3 SCVs already, likewise across the map. We're also getting 3 SCVs as well. Cyclone getting a lock on and a hot pickup. Oh my god, we got the Cyclone! The control, Clem takes down the Cyclone of his opponent, going for another push here at the natural base as well. Bjorn, oh my god, losing so much mining time. He's getting SCVs, don't get me wrong. Oh my god, quite a lot actually. The boys are being pulled and this is getting out of control. 10, 11 SCVs go down. Clem, he's not looking. Taking a lot of free hits. Chaos ensuing, and after the dust does settle, Bjorn is far ahead. He's on 41 SCVs as opposed to the 27 of Clem. We come back in once again. We get another SCV. We don't even need to, but we do. Now, we did force a lot of lost mine time here at the natural, but for the most part, Bjorn is in a much better position. There was potential for Clem, but Clem was just not ready for the counter drop. As a result, Bjorn is going to be able to get into the mid game in a better position. As I say that, Clem does have a faster third. Bear that in mind. Did bring that up earlier. It's like, oh my god. Can we get both? No shot. Ooh. Trade blow for blow. Medivacs and Cyclones. But Bjorn gets an extra 3 SCVs. Now we have the third CC on the way. Did Bjorn see the third base timing? He didn't. He missed it.
Additional supply depots required.
He's not fully aware of how greedy Clem is being. But regardless, Bjorn does find himself in a much better position. And honestly, a lot of these TVTs, actually every TVT in this series has been determined by the early game. Whoever comes out ahead in the early game typically snowballs out of control and wins. So this doesn't bode well for Clem. Clem, he needs to recover. But how do we recover? We're going for some auto-target harass. This is nice. 4 SCVs. Not insignificant. You have a tank push through the center. So we are attempting to go for auto-target harass here in the main base. SCVs, no! They rallied towards the auto-turrets. 6 more SCVs going down. The Raven will at least be hunted down by the Vikings of Clem. But Clem is still one step behind. And Bjorn is still in a commanding position. And here we go. The armies are moving out. Now, what I will say, when it comes to the overall army size and army supply, Clem is ahead. He is ahead. He's the first to siege. Tank volleys will not go off. Bjorn does pull back in time. Bjorn attempting to reposition, but his third base is under fire, and Clem, he's catching up. He's mining from his own third, and he's denying the third of Bjorn. Can he get a kill? He wants it, but he will not get it. It's getting very low, though. Likewise, Clem does have air control. Tanks getting in position. Clem is slowly catching up. He's not there yet, but he's getting there. This Clem is gonna unsiege and retreat. Very mature. I feel like if we stuck around any longer, then Bjorn would eventually just collapse on this position, especially with these Ravens. So Clem is gonna rotate around, and Bjorn is gonna expand elsewhere, taking the linear third. Linear third is on the way. Bjorn still maintaining his worker lead.
Clam did a good job recovering, but still have a ways to go. Upgrades are on the way. The rest of production kicking in. Looking at the overall army quality, Bjorn is slightly ahead in tanks. Bjorn is also ahead in ravens. That's really what it comes down to. The one advantage that Clem has is the marine count slightly ahead. So potentially a more maneuverable army, but not by much. And we have a game. Do have a game. We can see Clem just going to be throwing down that sensor tower, just trying to turtle himself up. Looking to weather the storm. Fourth base on location is delayed. Very nicely done here by Clem. And as a result, he starts his own fourth. His own fourth is on the way, undisturbed. Now, Bjorn is being a little bit greedier, getting his own location, but he has map control, so it makes sense. Clem is taking more the defensive role here, in a defensive position. And Bjorn doesn't have to push in. All he has to do is contain. Contain his opponent to 4 bases while... Sorry, to 3 bases while Bjorn takes the 4th. Means they stim on forward. Tanks are getting in position. They're within range of the gas geyser. Gas does go down. At the same time, Clem going for a big drop across map is spotted. Is going to be spotted by Bjorn. Once again, Clem going to be flexing his air control. Takes down a medevac even. Speaking of, Clem also drops a couple of medevacs. Doesn't find any damage across the map. But I feel like Bjorn has to get the hell out of here. Clem is getting within range. Up! Bjorn, no reaction. He does scan, but a little bit too late. Tanks go down. Bjorn, his tank out gets completely reset. Again, a big overextension from Bjorn. And just like that, Clem takes a massive tank lead. Getting his 4th base up and running. So is Bjorn. Now what Bjorn lacks in tanks, he makes up for in marines. So he could potentially dive on this army. Try and dive on Clem. This is a really awkward position for Bjorn. Really awkward position. He has to back up. Bjorn just completely abandoning his Vikings. There we go, we're diving in. Big anti-armor missile. Likewise, big disables as well. And the Marines of Bjorn, they completely clean up. They shut down the tank line. I mentioned before that Bjorn, instead of going for a heavy Viking count, he goes for more Marines and drop play instead. And he busts his way through. And just like that, Bjorn suddenly takes the tank lead away from Clem. So very back and forth. Bjorn now with a massive supply lead overall. And he can keep pushing. Bjorn hasn't spotted. Once again, Gas Geyser is going down. We're going for a drop into the natural. Not too many Marines, just a handful. Just enough to threaten another Gas Geyser as well. He is going to go down. Behind this, we have more reinforcements on the way. Bjorn is the first to max out. Off of the back of that economy and of course that trade as well. Vikings are falling. Bjorn getting ready to push in towards that 3rd or even the 4th. He does scan, does see the planetary, sees the lack of tanks. And Bjorn, where do we go from here? He is trying to catch his opponent out of position. A lot of Marines are going down for free. We dive in between the bases towards that 3rd. Tank shot's going to be going off as well. And Beyond is being forced back to his final tank. Can he take a fight? It looks like he can. Oh my god. Very close fight. Beyond did lose 2 tanks in the process. Only traded out Marines, or only got Marines of Clem. Clem is doing a great job of just spreading out his tanks, being in position. His 4th base is vulnerable, but Beyond doesn't know that. Beyond is not aware as he takes a 5th. Nice target firing out of Beyond. We'll lose both tanks. Beyond has been a little bit wasteful, losing 2 tanks, one after the other. Not really able to trade out either. He scans, he sees lack of 5th, so Beyond knows he is still ahead economically. He can still trade. 2-2 on the way. Oh, plus, sorry, 3-3 on the way. Plus 3 armor, plus 3 defense. It was delayed. So Clem actually going to be slightly ahead in upgrades eventually. At least in the Marine upgrades. Beyond getting ready for a big Doom drop towards the natural. Bold move here. Clem actually pushing towards the gold. Massive tank. Oh no! Beyond! Bit of miscontrol and a massive volley of tanks. Sorry, massive volleys go off on the Marines. Beyond plummeting in supply. Not like this. Just, I mean, both armies were maxed, and suddenly Beyond drops 30 supply. Now we can push in. Tanks are going down. Beyond racing back home. Just a disastrous fight there. Full medevac goes down. Beyond is losing too much, far too quickly. And this is snowballing out of control. More tanks go down. Beyond going to be trading out. Trading tanks for tanks. But Clem, he has momentum. He can ignore this army and just push across the map. He's going to be bleeding out some Vikings. The tanks are sieging. Beyond, he's catching reinforcements, but yeah, there's no way for Beyond to hold on. He has to pull the boys up. And upon pulling the SCVs, it looks like he will break through. Across the map, he tries a counterattack, doesn't quite get too much done. Oh, the medevacs. Oh my god. They just fly past. Thank god. Vikings were not on a move. 6th base is going to be denied. We will shut down this drop. This is still up in the air. I still want to give the edge to Clem, especially with the goal base. But Beyond, he's not going down without a fight. And in TVT, you can be down 20, 30 supply and still win. Based on positioning. If you catch the tanks on siege, then you can take a fight nonetheless. So it still comes down to how they engage. It still comes down to how they do fight. There we go. Double drop towards the 5th. Marines, they catch some free tanks. That's what I mean. Tanks, they go down for free. Likewise, Beyond also going to be bleeding out some tanks as well. Still going blow for blow. Big distraction though, because here come the Marines towards that planetary. These tanks are exposed. No. 3 tanks are going to be going down. But look at the mass Marine here from Beyond. Chasing back Clem. And we just stim in. Oh my god, we just don't even care. We just stim in all the way towards the 3rd base. Clem unprepared, unawares, and Beyond doesn't quite take the fight. Does overextend a little bit. The lack of medevacs is really hurting Beyond, actually. He doesn't have as much sustain.
As a result, his stims are killing him. SCVs are going. The tanks were on siege. No! The tanks, they were on siege, and Bjorn, he's trying to break through. God loses every medevac in the process. And let's go from here. From this point, we can even land the Vikings, but no, we back up. Bjorn does get a kill on the planetary, at least. He's denying some mining. He's expanding behind this as well. But Bjorn, he does plummet in the supply. Again, he's just been so trigger happy with that stim. Speaking of stimming again. Chasing down that Liberator. Planetary under threat. Okay, thankfully Bjorn, he is racing back home. A couple of SCVs are going to go down. The game is slowing down from here. Clem has maxed out, and we gotta go, Pappy. We gotta push. Really nice movement there out of Clem. Gets a free tank. Gets 5 SCVs. But in this passivity, Bjorn has also been able to remax as well. When it comes to, once again, the composition here, Clem is up in tanks, he has Liberators. Bjorn has, most of Bjorn's supply is Marines. Most of his supply is just pure Marine. So in a head-to-head fight, I want to give it to Clem. See if he can pull it off, forcing the unsiege. Tanks are going to be going down. Oh my god, so many Marines go down and the tank will fall. Clemmy takes control of this position. Bjorn knows he cannot contest, he backs off. He's going for a pseudo base trade. Orbital is going to go down. All these SCVs as well. And Clemmy's racing back home. He knows that Bjorn's going for a counterattack, and can he get here in time? Tanks are sieging Liberators as well, but we get on top of the tanks. Oh my god. Bjorn, he cannot break through. He loses 26 SCVs across the map and the base as well. And that is it. That is the end of the economy for Bjorn. He's down to 36 workers. Barely an economy. Like, Bjorn, this mass marine style, unfortunately, not working here against Clem. I mean, the problem is that it relies on drop play, but because every single fight, Bjorn loses his medevacs, he just can't drop. He just hasn't been able to. Doesn't have the medevacs for it. He hasn't been able to pull apart Clem. He's been forced to take these frontal engagements instead, which is less than ideal. Does get on top of the base. Oof. But the medevacs go down again. And every stim hurts. Ay, ay, ay. How many medevacs do we have? We have 2. These are the only 2 medevacs for Bjorn. 2 medevacs for 80 Marines. The tanks, they're going to be popping off. Bjorn will dive on top of this army, but this trade is not going to be pretty. Yeah, the Marines will go down. The Vikings siege, sorry, Liberators siege up. And Bjorn has nothing left. That was his army. And now it's no more. This is now all he has left. An overstimmed Marine force. Remaking his medevacs. But Bjorn is on his last legs. Gold base is being taken. We can see Clem push through the center. And the reality is that there just isn't much to stop the main army. Clem has maxed out. Bjorn still struggling. GG gets called. And Clem will take the series 3-1, becoming this week's ESL Open Cup 200 Americas champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Clem as he does take it in the end. A very chaotic series, very back and forth. Again, we at least got more of a late game situation here in the final game. Before that,
The entire series, game 1, 2, and 3 were all decided off of the early game, just really hyper aggressive play early on, led into one player getting an advantage. Here, it was more back and forth. It was more back and forth, but this playstyle from Beyond, unfortunately, just wasn't able to really make it work. Ideally, we want to go for all these constant counterattacks and multi-pronged attacks and harassment here, pushing towards the north, towards the south, pulling apart the slower tank-heavy player, but Beyond just wasn't able to pull that off. Claim he was so adamant about just shutting down medevacs and denying any kind of drop play, and in these head-to-head fights, Beyond was at a disadvantage, and GG, well played. Congratulations to Clem. My condolences to Beyond, but did make a series out of it, and yeah, it did lead to an entertaining finals. GG. GG, and whew, with that, that is going to be the end of the broadcast. The end of the broadcast here for now. We did wrap up with ESL Masters Winter Americas earlier today. Now we just wrapped up the Open Cup, and in a couple of hours, I didn't realize how soon it was. In 4 hours time, we are going to be live once again on this channel with a replay cast of the KSL, the Korean StarCraft League. Usually we cast it live, but we were unable to cast the 32nd edition live because we were covering the B stream for ESL Masters, so we were busy. We were otherwise preoccupied, and we had just a little bit too much casting going on the channel, so we missed it. We missed a week of KSL, and we're going to be catching up. We are looking to catch up in the KSL as best we can, and that is in 4 hours. So if you still want some more StarCraft, we got you covered later on tonight. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and hope you enjoyed that TVT of a finals. You know, I think a lot of people, I know that TVT has a bit of a rough reputation. I know a lot of people, they think of it, they're like, oh, these, like, you know, these slow tank lines, and we wall off and we max out, and you know, it's like tank v tank sort of thing. But Clem and Björn are very active in their play styles, and they allow for a really fun series. So GG, well played. A lot of good StarCraft. And yeah, with that, thank you so much everyone for watching. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. Again, we have another broadcast in 4 hours, and tomorrow, let me just double check. Tomorrow we're going to be live with Kung Fu Cup tomorrow night as well. The StarCraft just does not end. And yeah, in these 4 hours, I'm also going to be just catching up in work. I have to edit some VODs. I have to schedule some VODs as well. There's a lot going on. I would love to stream a little bit, but I don't think I have the time to ladder, and I don't think I have the time to stream, unfortunately. But it's okay. Maybe I'll find some time to stream tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Otherwise, hope you all enjoy yourselves, and if you want to follow us, !socials in the chat. We are all over social media: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. You can interact with us over on Discord if you wish, outside of these streams, and we upload on YouTube on a regular basis, almost daily. I say almost. Again, we've been missing a couple of days because of ESL Masters. We've just been so busy that we haven't been able to schedule VODs properly, so I'll do my best to catch back up with those VODs, and yeah, that's what I'll be doing in between the casts. I'm going to be working on VODs. So we got you covered on YouTube. Outside of that, you can support us on Patreon if you wish. We have our Patreon just underneath Beyond's name. Our goal is 300 USD. That's how much money we spend on tournaments every month, and our goal is to have that fully community funded and grow our tournaments, and, you know, pay out top 4, make them weeklies. We have a lot of goals for our tournaments, and hopefully we can get there one day. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in a couple of hours for some more StarCraft. Otherwise, stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Not too sure who, but we'll find someone to raid, so give them a chance, give them some love, give them some support, and we'll see you guys later on tonight. Till then, thank you so much. Hasta luego. Bye. Bye.